good to have you with us on the Monday edition of the Urban Debate. Viewers, tonight, one more time, we're going to put the spotlight on the big face-off over the 3 farm bills. Now, last week, repeatedly, we broke it down to you to explain to you some of the bills and what the pros and cons are, what each side is saying. But the political face-off is refusing to die down. 8 Rajya Sabha MPs have been suspended for this session after the ruckus that was created yesterday. Before we go on to a conversation, I've got a special guest joining us right on top of the Urban Debate right now. Good evening, Mr. Chidambaram. Thank you for speaking with us. It's been a while. Good to have you on the show again. Mr. Chidambaram, I'm sure you heard the government's news briefing in the evening where they, in a way, upped the ante against the opposition and accused the opposition MPs of wanting to physically assault the deputy chairman and not allow voting. Your response to what the government is saying now?
I can't comment on what the minister said about what happened in the Rajya Sabha. I think the members who were present in the Rajya Sabha have given their version. It's also on the video. What I noticed was that there were members demanding division. They demanded a division on the motion to refer the bill to the Select Committee. They demanded a division on every amendment. They demanded a division at the stage of third reading. And the deputy chairman would not even look up from his seat and notice the members. The rule is, even if one member demands a division, the chair is bound to allow a division. The government doesn't answer the question why the chair did not allow a division when it was visible to the whole world that several members were demanding a division. In fact, the members, even before the House assembled, had made it clear that they would insist on a division. If the government had a majority, it should have readily agreed to a division. Please ask the government to answer that question first. If a division had been allowed, there would have been no commotion at all, and the vote would have decided whether the bill was passed or not.
But the government says exactly that we wanted to hold the vote while not specifically using the word division vote, but they did say we wanted to hold the vote, but it wasn't allowed by the opposition. Before that itself, they resorted to ruckus and attacking the deputy chairman.
That's completely wrong. The visuals will prove it wrong. Why is the government shy of using the word division? And who can call for a division? Not the government. It is the chair which can call for a division. When the members demand a division, the chair must say, yes, division. And when division is announced, the Secretary General announces the procedure, rings a bell, and division is either by electronic voting or by voting slips. Today, of course, it had to be by voting slips. It would have taken a few minutes. But why did the chair not allow a division? The government is avoiding an answer to that issue. That's why it's even avoiding the use of the word division.
In fact, Mr. Chidambaram, I have been wondering the same, to the point that the government, even in the evening, the ministers said that we had the votes, we had 110 members in the House who were supporting the bills. Do you believe the government when they say that? Why else would they not want a discussion or a division vote?
That question should be put to them. If the minister knows the result of the division even without a division, I suggest he be made the one-man election commission of India. We can declare the results of state and parliament elections without an election at all. How does he know that he has 110? And how does he know that the opposition is only 72 without a division? Does he have a crystal ball to look into and declare the result even without a voting?
Okay, I take your point. Now, let us come to what is also the core issue at hand before, of course, what unfolded in the Rajya Sabha yesterday, Mr. Chidambaram, and that's these 3 legislations. Before I move on, I wanted to ask you, do you believe, Mr. Chidambaram, that the farm sector in our country as it stands today needs to be liberalized?
Of course, the Congress manifesto said so. We need to liberalize the farm sector as we have liberalized the industrial sector, as we've liberalized the services sector. Liberalization is the way to the future. Question is, what is liberalization? Liberalization in the farm sector means creating multiple markets, creating thousands of alternative markets for the farmer. If I'm a farmer in a village, I must be able to find a market to my east within 3 or 4 kilometers. I must be able to find a market to my west, 3 or 4 kilometers. I must be able to find a market to my north in 3 or 4 kilometers. Create thousands of markets in large villages and small towns. That is liberalization. Once you create these alternative markets and allow private purchasers to come and register themselves in this market and buy, and the farmer will sell. That will create a competitive agricultural ecosystem. That's when the farmer will get the best price. Today, you're allowing a private, secret deal at the farm gate or in the farmer's house. The bill does not say that the price shall not be less than MSP. Please put the question to the next minister who comes on your show. If the government's intention is that MSP is mandatory, that MSP must be given to the farmer, MSP is the floor price for all transactions, why does it simply not add a proviso that while a private transaction is permitted, provided, however, that the price shall not be less than the MSP? I've written about it, I've tweeted, I've spoken, my colleagues have spoken. The ministers don't answer this question. Why doesn't the agriculture minister answer the question, why is this clause missing in the bills?
I read some of your tweets and what you've said, the argument that you've made in this. You've gone on to say it will be so difficult to track whom the farmer is selling at what price in thousands of places and lakhs of transactions that take place. And I understand that. But when we are saying that you have the option of going to still the existing mandis where the prices will be regulated, you still have the option of selling it to the government at MSP. Shouldn't that be enough in a liberalized economy? Shouldn't we also let some of the market dynamics then play out?
Not enough. Look at data. In God we trust, for everything else, bring me data. What did the minister disclose in the House 2-3 days ago? Last year, only 1.24 crore paddy farmers got MSP. Only 44 lakh wheat farmers got MSP. What about the other farmers? Your APMC system can only go that far. Your APMC is inaccessible to most farmers. How does a farmer with less than 1 hectare holding and who's got maybe 15, 20 bags of paddy or wheat to market, how does he bag it, transport it, load it, unload it, and take it to an APMC, wait for 2 days to get his money? How does he do it? Therefore, he doesn't go to the APMC. APMC serves a limited purpose to a limited number of farmers. The answer is open thousands of competitive alternative markets and insist that MSP is the floor price. That's the way to go. Therefore, without data, you can't make the statement, well, I'm giving MSP in the APMC and that's good enough. That's not good enough. Only 1.24 crore paddy farmers and only 44 lakh wheat farmers got MSP last year.
In fact, Mr. Chidambaram, you kind of took away from my next question, because I was going to say that even today, in the existing regulated APMC markets, farmers don't always manage to get their MSP, barring maybe a handful of states. Then, if I may follow that up by asking you, what would be the ideal solution? Your own party, promised repealing the APMC Act and doing away with the markets. And how do you ensure the farmer gets the MSP?
A little reading, Tanvi, is as dangerous as a little knowledge. Read the whole section of the manifesto. We made it absolutely clear that we will create thousands of markets in large villages and small towns. We will promote farmer-producer organizations and companies in order to access technology, inputs, and markets. Underline the word markets. The word market occurs at least 5 times in that section. These markets have to be created first. If these markets are created, then the natural sequel will be that the APMC can go or the APMC can remain. The APMC becomes one player in a competitive market ecosystem. The way to liberalization is to create competitive alternative markets. Let me repeat that. Competitive, alternative, multiple, easily accessible markets to the farmers. That's liberalization.
No, fair enough. You create many more markets, make them competitive. But again, I am failing to understand, and if you can help us explain, how do you ensure that that minimum price is given even now in places where we even have e-mandis? It's the system still not working as one would want it to work.
That's because this government doesn't know how to work systems. It has got a GST. It doesn't know to work the system. That's why it's failed. That's why it's created problems. Of course, the system can work. How does the e-trading in the stock exchange work? Does not price discovery work? When I put in a price at which I'm willing to sell, and somebody has a call price at which he's willing to buy, does not the system match the put-in price and the call price and match it? It can be made to work, provided you know how to make it work. In e-commerce, what is the difficulty in ensuring that MSP is the price at which the bargain will be struck? In a competitive thousands of markets that I'm talking about, the private purchaser can come and buy. But the condition will be that he can pay a price which is not less than MSP. So he has to buy in that market. The market can be run by the state government. It can be run by a panchayat. It can be run by a private licensed person. It can be run by a cooperative society. Like warehouses, we set up thousands and thousands of markets and insist that everybody must buy and sell in that market. So it's accessible because it's close by to the villager. There are thousands of markets. He can turn east, he can turn west, he can go north, find a market. But the condition is that the price cannot be less than the MSP. So you set a floor price. When you set a floor price, all transactions will discover a price above the floor price.
Okay. All right. Mr. Chidambaram, we're out of time, but very quickly, I wanted to ask you this because this comment has just come in by Supriya Sule of the NCP. And in Lok Sabha, she has said that in these extraordinarily difficult times the world is going through, there is one ministry which I think regularly outperforms all other departments, that is the Finance Ministry. We may have strong disagreements, but I would like to compliment Finance Minister and her MOS. There are two people who constantly come with bills to try and fix things which really need fixing at urgency. Do you agree with what Supriya Sule has said here?
I don't know the context in which my colleague Supriya Sule made that statement. We have seen the results of their remarkable fixing, that we are the world's deepest recession at 23.9%. The minister should answer, how did the world's fastest growing economy, as claimed by the PM and the FM in March 2020, become the world's worst hit economy by June 2020? That's a magic wand which only this government's ministers have. I have no such magic wand, and I can't explain the magic behind that wand, which miraculously converts a so-called world's fastest growing economy into the world's most deeply affected economy.
Okay, thank you so much. Another day, I would love to have a conversation on the economic situation. But for today, Mr. Chidambaram, I appreciate you taking the time out and speaking with us. We continue with our focus on the farm sector.
Thank you.
Well, let's, with wasting any more time, let's also welcome our panelists who are joining us right now for a debate, a discussion on what's gone through the Parliament, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha in the last few days, what's gone on, specifically yesterday, the ruckus that was created, and the fact that MPs have now been suspended, and the big war of words that's going on still about whether or not government rushed through, bulldozed through these bills. Should there have been more time given? My simple question is, could we have had a larger discussion? Could we have given more time in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha? These are extremely important legislations. Didn't they deserve more time of our parliament before a vote happened on these bills? Let's say good evening to Rakesh Sinha, Member of Parliament from the Rajya Sabha, Dr Shama Mohamed, National Spokesperson for the Congress Party, Dr Mehboob Shaikh, Spokesperson for the YSRCP, and Annie Raja, Leader of CPI and General Secretary of the National Federation of Indian Women. Let me actually just begin with Dr. Rakesh Sinha. Dr. Rakesh Sinha, if you have the votes, if the BJP, if the government has the backing, has the votes, why not spend a couple of more days, discussing these important reforms, discussing these important legislations?
Your question is very valid because there is a confusion among the people also regarding this. The parliamentary business is decided on the basis of consultation with the opposition parties. It is the consultation which led the government to allot the time to a particular bill to be discussed. And it is this consensus which led that discussion would take place on this bill, and a particular time was allotted. Nobody has objected. Every political party agreed with that. And then discussion took place. And I consider that this discussion was one of the best discussions which Parliament has had in its recent history, because every political party, without any interruption, expressed their point of view, which includes smaller parties like RJD, TDP, JDU, BJP, Congress, bigger parties. After the discussion, earlier also, 2 days ago, when I was speaking, because there was less time, so my time was cut down and I have to stop, and then the opposition and the ruling party decided, once we have discussed, now this voting should take place because we have lesser time. At the same time, I am pointing out, this is very significant. There are many opposition party leaders who have approached to the speaker and the chairman that parliamentary this session should be cut down due to spread of COVID among the parliamentary staffs and many members of parliament. So there is a limited time, and in this extraordinary situation, the discussion took place. There was no objection from any side that there was lesser time. After that, when there was 1 o'clock, then the deputy chairman asked for the consensus of the House to extend the time. This is a normal practice. We extend the time. We have extended in the past 2 days ago and 3 days ago. Then opposition, when there was a matter of division, then opposition came and disrupted. Disruption can be allowed. I can allow that I can agree that there can be disruption, sloganeering, and opposition and show of anger. But it is the type of anger, a type of expression of the anger is very important. When you become violent, and violent against the chair, you are not only turning the rule book, you are attacking the deputy chairman. You are standing on the table. And that is a house of elders. Who provoked you? Nobody has provoked. The deputy chairman is a very gentleman. He has been a companion of Jayaprakash Narayan, part of the JP movement. His background is a socialist background. And he is considered to be a very gentleman. Now you are doing something which the ruling party has not provoked. We were going for the division on the select committee. And you created not only disorder, you created a violent situation in the parliament. It was the ruling party which remained compassionate, calm and cool. Had it been any provocation, then you could have imagined that it could have been like a street fight. You are fighting with whom? Marshals. They are the employees. Their duty is to protect the chair. Their duty is to protect the constitutional authority. And what you are doing? You have just breaking the mind.
So I think, Mr. Rakesh Sinha, Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Sinha, I don't think anybody will be sitting here and defending how the ruckus unfolded and some of the actions that took place. The question is, there was resistance. There is still no clarity. I don't know if you managed to hear Mr. Chidambaram. There is still no clarity that the deputy chairman or the government wanted a division of votes. It was pushed through via voice vote system, and that's essentially the question I'm asking you. Was there a need to do that?
I'm answering. Look, there is a system in Parliament. You sit on your seat, and the voting take place either electronic machine, because there is no system of electronic machine at this juncture, because members are sitting different places in Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and galleries. In that situation, the slip is distributed. So you just listen the deputy chairman. He time and again ask the member, kindly go to their seat. There would be division. And division is quite natural on the select committee. The first thing is that in division, when deputy chairman or chairman proposes the division, he says voice vote. After voice vote, when the proposer is agree that he agree with the voice vote, that whether the ruling party, treasury party has won or the opposition, then if they don't agree, they say they demand for the voting on the basis of writing. And then the vote take place on the writing on the slip, that whether you agree or disagree. So division, this is a pattern of division in the Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. This time, this was quite disorderly, and you remember, this is a very planned by the left and the Congress party. They earlier planned. They came into the They started.
Okay.
Then just one line. They called their member from the gallery in Lok Sabha, and all social distancing norms they have violated. What was the need? Your protest is a protest. You could have done protest. All the senior members of the Congress party, left parties, were in the chamber, but you called and created a ruckus in the chamber. And it was really, I am just 2 years old in the Rajya Sabha. I am not a big experience or the long experience of the Rajya Sabha, but I can tell you that since 1952, this is the first incident which took place, which is a blot on democracy. And after doing the violent activity, they are sitting at the statue of Gandhi. Look, the paradox of the opposition party. Doing violence.
All right, Mr. Sinha, let me get a response from the other side then, and I will come back to you. Let me first go to Shama Mohamed on it, and then Annie Raja can also respond to this charge. Shama Mohamed, the government says still it's very difficult to really make out in the ruckus that happened yesterday that we were moving ahead and going towards holding a division vote, but that never happened because of what the ruckus that unfolded and the assault that happened.
See, Tanvi, everybody knew what happened there. First and foremost, I just want to, before getting to the point, today I heard a lecture, a sermon by Mr. Narendra Modi on television. I was wondering, why didn't he do this sermon before the bill was passed and explained all the issues everybody has? Now, when there is an important bill like this, you need to give answers to the opposition, to the farmers protesting out of there. No answers. Mr. Rakesh Sinha just said there was discussion. There was no discussion anywhere. By brute force, they passed it in Lok Sabha. In the Rajya Sabha, they did not want to discuss. They were asking questions, the opposition. No answers to it. The Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Tomar, was just continuously talking. There was no discussion. I don't know which chamber he was sitting in. Maybe he was just covered up all over, Dr. Rakesh Sinha, and he could not hear what was happening. That is what. It was going to be 1 p.m. and Mr. Gulab Nabi and all of them said, you know what, we'll continue it tomorrow, the discussion. Because the Deputy Speaker said, no, it will continue now, but normally in Rajya Sabha or in Lok Sabha, there should be a consensus about continuing. It's not about brute force or numbers. So the consensus was to debate the issue. What are the issues they have to answer? They wanted answers from the government. So to continue it on Monday. But the Deputy Speaker disregarded and said, no, we will continue now. That is what was the issue. And there was no division of vote. Went straight away to voice vote. Mr. Tomar was speaking, and they went straight away to voice vote. There was no division. There was no division of votes were happening. I don't know what Dr. Sinha is saying. So this has to, in a democracy, what I want to ask Dr. Rakesh Sinha is, if the government is so confident that they are doing the right thing, it's a right bill, why should they not send it to a select committee, which even their partner, not their allies, in fact, the ones who support them, BJP, KRS, all of them said that why don't you send it to the select committee? Why are they not ready to send it to a select committee? I don't get that. They are very confident that this is the right bill for the farmers. So if you're confident, you should have sent it to the select committee. What I understand and I know is that they are not confident at all. They are doing something which is against the farmers, and that's why they want to pass this bill to help whoever their friends are, the corporate friends of theirs, to select it to send the bill quickly so that the bill is approved and is done. This is the issue, Tanvi. There are farmers protesting. There are many questions to be answered. Send it to a select committee. What is the reason? Why the hurry to pass it that day through voice vote? Why not discuss it on Monday, the next day? These are the questions. And also, very importantly, why not put the MSP into the bill? Why not say that, you know what, I don't see any clause which says that a trader can, a buyer or a trader or the corporate can buy from the farmer with a minimum support price. There's no way. So they can arm twist the small farmer and buy whatever price they want. Where is it written that they have to buy? Now, mandis are regulated. In a mandi, there is always a minimum support price. But what happens when the farmer has to sell it to various people? What is the basic price he's going to sell it? Where is it written that a private buyer has to follow the MSP and buy at MSP or above MSP? Nowhere. We just wanted.
Let's take it point by point.
Why
yes.
did they not want?
So Shama Mohamed, let's come to the specifics. Let's come to the specifics of the bill in just a bit, Shama Mohamed. Let's take it part by part. The first part we're focusing on is, shouldn't we have given more time for discussion, send it to a select committee, or have a discussion in Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha before the voting was held? I've taken your point on that. Let me also get in Annie Raja, and then Mr. Rakesh Sinha can respond to both of you.
Tanvi, he should also answer. There are 15 parties who have gone to the president today, and their oldest ally has left them on this, So the Akali Dal, they have issues. He said that we discussed everything. Harsimrat Kaur Badal was saying the other day that I told them many times when the bill came, these are the issues. They did not listen. So we have to do this. I have to leave the government. Now he has to answer to all this. Where is the discussion when their own ally is saying they did not answer to us?
Tanvi ji, give me 30 seconds to answer her. Just give me 30 seconds. Then.
Okay, 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Yes.
Yes. You know that there are three parts of the debate. One is the incident which took place, which Shama Mohamed cleverly escaped. She should condemn the incident. Had it been the BJP members, I would have condemned. The violent incident is inside the parliament, that is to upper house, known as Elders House. You know what was Washington said? This is just cooling the legislation. It is not the cooling. It is just opposite. Second thing is the procedure you talked, and just I'm answering of that. The procedure is that the time is fixed with the consensus with the Congress and all the parties. Nobody objected. Sama, you should be in the Rajya Sabha. Better you should be in Rajya Sabha. You should have objected. There is a consensus of the debating time. They debated. The Congress parties, Bajwa spoke, and BJP's Bhupendra Yadav ji spoke, and all the parties spoke. After the discussion, the minister replied. After the reply, the question was the division. Then the Congress parties and others said the division should take place tomorrow. What tomorrow? They didn't say that discussion. Discussion ended. Samaji. Then that it was a matter of division. They disrupted with violent means. So opposition is a blot in the democracy. The Congress party is a blot in democracy.
The big point of debate has become now, if I make us come in, please, I really need to go to our two other panelists who haven't spoken yet. The big debating point at this right now, Annie Raja, has become whether or not we were headed towards a division vote or not, or just a voice vote. The charge by opposition is you bulldoze your legislations via voice vote, and you didn't allow, transparent voting, but the government says we were headed that way, you blocked it, you created ruckus.
You see, the first part only I will refer now, because you said the other issues will come later. So my first reaction is that it was a very well-written procedure, designed by the BJP and the ruling dispensation, that they were not sure that the bill will be passed in the Rajya Sabha or not because of so many reasons. And they violated all the parliamentary proceedings and norms by not allowing the members to raise even the issues properly in the House, or the proper proceedings were followed yesterday. That is what I did not see, because I am not there in the House. So what I have watched, it was very clear that even a point of order was not allowed to be taken or raised by the member of the House. So what are the what is that Mr. Rakesh Sinha is speaking about so innocently, that we were all very good members of parliament, we were all allowing, and the minister was replying, and the deputy chairman was taking up for the division. These are all fooling the people actually. Actually, the BJP saw to it that all the parliamentary proceedings and the norms are flouted and violated yesterday, so that they can bulldoze the House and the opposition and their demands for a division or an amendment or whatever may be the process. They don't want to see that. They wanted to. They were so adamant. You see, if they are so clear that this is an important bill, we are not saying that agriculture is facing a serious crisis. It needs an attention. But at the same time, when there is a parliament session is announced, what is the need for an ordinance? That itself shows the intention of Narendra Modi government, centers NDA, BJP-led NDA government, that they, in the name of brute majority in Lok Sabha, they want to see that whatever they think, that will be enacted and that will be done. No question of any voice, any opinion, any consensus from the opposition parties. Otherwise, it should have been sent to the select committee, or some amendments could have been brought by, demanded by the opposition parties and members. There was nothing. But as Shama said, important issue is the MSP thing. That is also very important for the part of for the farmers. And there is no consultation. Whether the it is again violation of the democratic process, and also there was no consultation with the state governments, and there was no consultation with the farmers' organization. These are all democratic process. When you are so sincere in helping this agricultural sector or farmers as a whole, then you should have ensured all these federal systems and structures in, you should have respected those things. You tried to ignore all that. You had least respect for these democratic processes. That's why there was no discussion with the state governments. There was no discussion with the farmers' organization. There was they are not ready to listen to the members of the opposition, and they were raising so many, they were raising many amendments, they were raising many questions, and repeatedly Prime Minister was, today also he was saying, no, MSP is there. I want to ask a simple question. When the written constitution, we have a written constitution, but in spite of having a written constitution, many of our constitutional rights are blatantly violated with impunity. What is the assurance by mouth by Prime Minister that MSP will be there? That is what the experience tells the people of this country, the opposition parties, the farmers and the state governments, that these assurances, the mere assurances will not work. That will not translate into actions. That is what the core of the issue. And that is what I would like to request Mr. Rakesh Sinha, have a little bit of respect for democratic process.
So I will come to the MSP point in just a bit and get a response from Rakesh Sinha. But first up, Dr. Mehboob Sheikh, thank you for patiently waiting. Dr. Mehboob Sheikh, your party has backed the bills. while many of those who otherwise usually back the BJP, including the BJD, have said sent it to the select committee. TRS has said send it to the select committee. Shiromani Akali Dal has completely opposed these farm bills. Do you believe, Dr. Sheikh, that enough conversation, discussion and time has been given to these very, very important legislations?
One thing, when the House addresses to give the time, it is their duty to give also. That is not a problem. But one thing, one nation, one policy, our government has welcomed, because our CM Jagan Mohan Reddy is for farmers and agriculture. And already before this government, whether the BJP has started or not, we don't know. Since our Rajshekar Reddy and our Jagan Mohan Reddy, they were for the farmers and the agriculture. E-NAM and e-market already started in AP, which is giving a better result when compared. The same policy will give less burden for the farmers. Previously, the farmers cannot go the other states. If they want to go to other states, they have to pay three times tax. But now the government itself, they are paying the cess. They said, the BJP government. And in AP also the same system we are following. Wherever the farmer want, they can sell their crop. That is the one thing. In between Dalari process, they can control. And the reduction of the cess charges and the taxes, if they want to go for the other states, then 3 times they have to pay the taxes. In this way, we gave the support to the BJP because only it will be benefited for the farmers. In that way, our Jagan Mohan Reddy and our MPs has directed to give the support for the farmers. Whatever the discussion or the selection committee, tell me. Hello? Hello?
Yes. Go ahead, please. Finish your point.
Yeah. Whatever the selection committee or the government, they have to give little time. I think the House has to decide, and the honorable the selection committee chairman or the people of Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha, these people, they have to take the decision. That is no doubt. Whether it is Hari or this one, we gave the support only for the farmers and the agricultural community. In that way, we are supporting the bill.
Okay, but do you have concerns, Mehboob Sheikh, about the minimum support price that the farmers will get? That's the big point that the Congress and the left are raising today.
100% they will get, because when they upload in internet or something, their crop or something, minimum price 100% they will get. There is no doubt at all in that. They can get more, even that minimum price, they can get more also in some other states where they need the crop. There is no doubt at all in that. It will be benefited for the farmers, madam, because we are trying in Andhra Pradesh, e-NAM and e-market. Already we are, crops are uploading. And in between Dalaris, immediately they can pay the cash to the farmers. That is one benefit. Previously, it used to be there. When the minimum price, if they want to give also, these corporate people, they used to give 1 month time, then they have to pay the farmers. Now it is not like that in AP. The day itself, when he is buying the crop, they have to pay the money. That is the rule. In the same way, this is also will be helpful.
Okay,
for
Mr.
the farmers,
Rakesh Sinha, the big question is, Mr. Rakesh Sinha, the big question is that why are you not making it clear how the farmer will get the MSP, the minimum support price, whether they sell it in the market or outside the market? Where is the clarity? Just an assurance won't do, says the Congress and the left.
To your question, I believe that you would have been satisfied by the answer of respected Ani Raja and Shama Mohamed on the question of incident that took place. Why did they escape? Why don't they condemn the violence which took place inside the chamber? This is the question. And any democratic person who escapes, this means you are endorsing the violence, and you are just giving message to the posterity that chamber is not meant only for discussion but also a street battle. Now coming to your question, CPI, CPM were ruling party in West Bengal, and any Raja has to answer what will happen in Nandigram and Singur. So I don't have any moral preaching from the communists, because they are anti-farmer, anti-people. Just they take shelter of the people. As far Congress
Sir,
is concerned,
thank you for
coming
your
to that-
respect, sir. But you
no,
please
come,
talk about the MSP.
Yes, I'm. Why you are afraid of listening Nandigram and Singur? These two words is very creating music in your ears.
No,
Nandigram and Singur. These are the incidents.
let Miran
which
now
exposed- Now I'm coming. Now
let Miran now organize a debate on Singur and Nandigram. Then we will
okay,
discuss about
I'm
that.
coming.
Now talk about MSP and this bill.
I have not interrupted you. You have said so many things which are not desirable in this debate, but I am not talking any undesirable thing. Second, I'm coming to the Congress. I am reminding Samam that there was a Hooda committee led by Bhupendra Singh Hooda, who was the Chief Minister of Haryana. And there were 5 Chief Ministers. All of them with a consensus recommended the same thing which is in the bill. There is no fundamental difference. There are some progressive measures, but there is no fundamental difference.
What
So
is
first
that? What is that? Can you say
Listen
what
to
is
me.
that? Tell
Hooda
us what is that you're saying?
No. I'm coming to all the things. You coming to, don't be impatient. Now coming to the bill. As far as bill is concerned, you know, previously farmers have been captive of a particular mandi. If a industry is said that you are confined to the particular area, you can't go to other area, the industry would collapse. That is the reason farmers are living in the debt, in poverty, and are helpless people. Now, Santa Kumar committee said only 6% farmers get the MSP. Rest 94% are dependent on the market. Now, what this bill is doing? This bill is expanding the scope of market from a particular area to the entire country. A person from Tamil Nadu can sell his product to Assam, and a person from Assam can sell his product to Punjab, and Punjab farmer can sell the product in Bihar. This is the beauty of the bill, that digital trading can take place, and this is applicable. Many provisions of the bill are already applicable in Tamil Nadu, from where I believe that Communist Party General Secretary D. Raja belongs to, and Andhra Pradesh already heard. In Punjab, many things are applicable. Why are they opposing? There is no opposition at all over the country. Only in 2 states. Just the Congress Party and Left Party are representing the middleman. The middlemen have been abolished, and there is an investment in the farm sector. No land could be sold. No land would be taken by any industrial house, any business person, any sponsors. Only contract is on the crops. Contract is on the crops. At the beginning of the season, the contract is that. Then the bargaining power of farmers is more than when he harvests. That is the second beauty of this bill. And in that situation,
no, but Mr. Rakesh Sinha, opening up, you are giving them the choice to sell wherever they want. That's not what the opposition is asking. The opposition is asking, how will you ensure they get the price they deserve?
Yes, I'm coming to it. Look, MSP would continue. There is no question of abolition of MSP. Prime Minister has said twice, because the opposition has been doing propaganda, and the lies and propaganda is the basic character of Indian opposition party in contemporary opposition parties. So Prime Minister has categorically said the farmers, be ensure if the government is going to give MSP, MSP is not going to abolish. Number 2. Now they are doing propaganda that...
Which part of the bill it is says, sir? Which part of which section says that about that, sir?
Let me. The Prime Minister said the MSP. This is the government policy. I am coming to that. You know, when you
you passed an act, and in that act, where is it? That is what I am just a simple question.
Okay. No, it doesn't.
Can I come in?
It doesn't say so. It doesn't say so. Yes, Shama Mohamed. May I just come? Yes, may I just go across to Shama Mohamed? She's been wanting to make a point. It doesn't say anywhere in the bill. The Prime Minister himself, though, has repeatedly last week, today, said that MSP will not go away. But where will it be available? Just in the APMC markets or outside? It's not clear in the bill right now, of course. Yes, Shama Mohamed.
Couple of points. He said, I just want to start from what he said before. He said, we were going into division of votes. Okay, if you were going into the division of votes, then why did you go? If you extended it, why did you go for voice votes? You should, if it was extended by the deputy chairman, You should have gone ahead with the division of votes. Why did you change it to voice votes? That's because you know you don't have enough support. So before getting it to tomorrow, the deputy speaker was partisan, and I'm going to say that he was partisan. He was doing the government's job and not what he is supposed to do, the job of being not partisan and being a deputy chairman of the Rajya Sabha. So that is the issue. He was partisan and he went through a voice vote because this was all planned by the Bharatiya Janata Party, that we do not have enough support, even from my allies, even from people, normally parties with supporters like BJP and TRS. So we will have to rush it through, and this is what we will do. Number two, why didn't you discuss and you say there are a couple of states, the whole of farmers are out there. This shows that you don't care about farmers. You don't care about the poor. Why didn't you send some of your people to speak to these farmers and make them understand your point of view? It is very easy in democracy. If there is a protest, if there is an issue, speak to them, explain to them. You're very confident you're doing the right thing. You did not do it. Then you mentioned that there has been ruckus. We have to condemn. How many times in 2012 and 2013 you have run into the Treasury bench throwing paper balls? I can show you the visuals of what the Bharatiya Janata Party did. Number three, when democracy has been muzzled like this, we have to raise our voice. You do not listen anywhere. You have brute majority in the Lok Sabha. In the Rajya Sabha, you're doing everything through ordinance and voice votes. This is your new thing. Then many things are passed as money bill. That's another thing which you do. So one has to raise our voice. People have to understand. The Rajya Sabha members in the Lok Sabha are various representatives of people all over India. That is where questions and answers are there for the government to answer to the people where you do not want to answer. And then very important point, you said the Prime Minister says, the party says, the MSP will not go. One last point. I want to ask you, you said we will give GST revenues to the states. Now what does Mr. Nirmala Sitharaman say? Due to act of God, we cannot give it to you. You borrow from the RBI. Why should states borrow from the RBI? The center can borrow at a much lower rate, which states can't do. Center gets the dividend of the RBI. This is the profit which states don't get. So why should states borrow? You have gone back on your word over there. How can anybody? There is a trust deficit here.
All right.
That is the main issue. We want it in the bill.
Okay. A mere assurance won't do. Point taken. Shama Mohamed, but very quickly, you have not responded to what what Rakesh Sinha asked you. Do you back what happened? Will you condemn the kind of actions we saw on the floor of Rajya Sabha? Tearing up of pages, rushing and attacking the deputy chairman in that way. Even if we say that yes, you were demanding something which wasn't going your way, is that the way to behave?
Nobody tore up anything. That has come out by the MPs who have been accused of tearing up. They themselves said nobody has torn anything. Number two, I only want to say that when democracy is being
it's
muzzled,
visible it's there on video.
It has been said that it has not been torn. I asked also, it is just pulled. That is different from tearing. So, there are two different things. Pulling and tearing is different. Number two, when the deputy chairman is behaving in a partisan manner, what can one do? There are many things. Of course, nobody wants violence. Everybody condemns any sort of violence or any of the violence happening anywhere. But one is something called protest is different from violent behavior. You have to understand that. There is something called protest. When things are not happening, we are literally already asked in the Lok Sabha, let's discuss this bill. Lok Sabha with brute majority, they just passed it. They do not. I'm asking, when you are so convinced about something, why are you scared? Professor Rakesh Sinha did not answer that. Why is he scared to send it? Why are they scared to send it to the select committee? What is the fear? Why are you?
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I'm completely out of time.
Professor, I
think this fight is going to continue. If the government says we wanted a division vote, then why didn't they do so? Why did we go out with a voice vote and finish it up there? That will be a question that continues to haunt the government because the opposition is very clearly saying there was no indication of a division vote. Viewers, here is the difference. In a voice vote, it's just a show of hands or by saying yay or nay, whether you are backing the bill or not. It's actually when you write it down and pass it on as in a piece of paper, whether your vote is yes or no, and then those are counted. That's the division vote. It brings about more clarity, especially in times where there is a clear divide within the House over a certain bill. then the usual norm is that you go for division vote. Sometimes it's by pressing a button, but in these cases, in times of a pandemic, where we're taking extra precautions, it would have been through paper slips. That did not happen, and that's now become a big point of contention. If the government is confident and was confident of the numbers, why just bulldoze the bill through a voice vote? This is not to say that we question the merits or the demerits of the three legislations. But one thing is very simple. These three crucial regulations for the farm sector deserve a lot more conversation, deserve, them being discussed threadbare to ensure that whatever is the final law that gets implemented is in the best interest of a large percentage of the farmers in this country. We'll keep a track on this conversation. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.